Hi everybody, this is Nick from Game Crate, and I'm here with Rachel, and today we're taking a look at an early version of Civilization Beyond Earth. We're both really excited about this game. It's the one I'm anticipating the most of any game that's coming out. I've already written about it a bunch. If you want to read about it on Game Crate, we'll have a lot of new stuff up today about my experience playing with this early version where you're able to play the first 250 turns, which is actually a pretty sizable amount of the game, gets you solidly into the mid-game. You can try out a lot of different things. So today we're going to be playing together. Rachel's going to be manning the keyboard and mouse, and I'm going to be providing some commentary and advice from what I've experienced so far. I've played so far on Mercury, and my experience has been, you know, that the opposing AI and the opposing civilizations are pretty easy on you. So that's probably what we want for now.
Yeah.
Just to experience building our own civilization. And let's go with the standard game pace, just because we don't want things to be different from what you'd normally be experiencing. All right, so we have a few different choices we could make there. The one I've played as mostly in my early demos is this one, Franco Iberia, which is selected automatically. That's kind of a tech and culture-based civilization.
Yeah, I like the bonus of this.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The Cavithian Protectorate is another one. Your cities develop faster, like early on, so that could be good. Or we have Brasilia as well, where your units just have the base 10% bonus in melee combat. So I would say one of those would probably be the one, either Franco Iberia, Cavithian Protectorate, or Brasilia.
Well, let's do one you haven't done a ton of, so maybe this one.
Okay, the Cavithian Protectorate. That's what we'll go with. And right away, you'll notice that there's a lot more steps in setting up a game. And somebody I talked to at Firaxis actually described this kind of, the setup process as sort of like deck building. You get to make a lot of choices at the beginning that are going to dramatically affect the strategies you can use and how your civilization develops. And it's a lot of fun. So we have that base bonus where our civilization, our cities are going to develop faster early on.
Okay.
And now, since this whole game is about you're colonizing a new world, so at this point you're picking your colonists, who's going on your colony ship. That's what this represents. What kind of people do you have on your colony ship? And you can pick a lot of different bonuses, as you can see here. So it's pretty straightforward. You know how most of these things work. You've played Civilization 5, right?
Yeah.
If you played Civilization 5, Beyond Earth is going to be pretty familiar in a lot of the ways, which is good. You don't have to relearn a lot.
What's this health?
Health, in previous Civ games, it'd kind of be like whether your city was overcrowded or whether it was sanitary.
So like
you know,
happiness or something like that?
It does affect that. Yeah. Like previously, you would build like an aqueduct if you didn't have enough health or happiness or whatever. So what I've done previously, I tried that Aristocrats one just because I thought that was funny. Energy is the equivalent of gold or money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, health is basically the equivalent of happiness. And then you get production, science, and food, culture, same kind of thing. You can see there's a few different ways you could do it. You could, try to stack up bonuses on top of each other, or you could try to make a diverse civilization here.
Yeah.
So now you're choosing your kind of spacecraft. So again, you have a few different options. Yeah, it's some fantastic stuff here. There's a choice of the Continental Surveyor, so you'll get to see the continents and coasts right away.
What's the benefit of that? Coast right away.
So you'll immediately know like a lot more about the map than the other people, the other civilizations, and you might be aware of an island or something off the coast that you otherwise wouldn't discover until later once you have the proper like seafaring units. So that gives you map information right away. Retrograde thrusters, you get kind of to choose where to land a little bit farther range as far as your first city goes.
This looks good.
Tectonic Scanner lets you see some valuable resources right away. We probably won't get to a point in the first 250 turns where these resources are extremely relevant.
Oh, these are kind of like the later...
They come in more in the middle to later game, but that could still matter. Fusion Reactor, you just get a burst of like gold of energy right away. And then Lifeform Sensor, that's going to reveal all the alien nests right away, which the aliens are the equivalent of barbarians. We'll be dealing with them a lot in the first 250 turns.
Okay. Maybe we should do this.
All right, let's try that. Give us some interesting information.
Enemy.
Yeah.
Know our enemy.
All right, I think this is our final choice as far as prepping ourselves. Now you're choosing what cargo is going on your colony ship. You can start with population bonus, you get a clinic right away, laboratory right away, soldier unit right away, or worker right away. Yeah, pioneering technology is a really basic, good first technology, so to have it right away is going to be pretty useful.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's go with that. All right, so they provide you with different named planets. These are the worlds you're going to go explore. And basically, you can kind of see with the little maps they have there, the Terran world is going to be the basic, like, couple of continents, vaguely like Earth, kind of in terms of land distribution. The Protean world is like a Pangea, one giant continent. And the Atlantean world is going to be like Archipelago with a bunch of little islands. Probably your best bet is going to be a Terran world just because this is your first time.
So we're ready to go.
All right,
Oh,
so
the
this is the,
advisor.
advisor wants to turn itself on to give you tips and everything. I think we're safe to go with, you don't have to say new to civilization, you can say new to Beyond Earth, but we should keep the full guidance on because there's still a lot of this game that I haven't mastered.
New to Beyond Earth.
Yeah, and we'll go with full guidance. So this is what I was talking about a bit before. The affinities are, they're sort of like religions, they're sort of like philosophies. They kind of, they're the part of the dominant theme of Beyond Earth is how is humanity going to adapt to being on this new world? And your strategies and your decisions kind of get grouped into three categories, which are purity, supremacy, and harmony. None of these are the good one or the evil one or anything like that.
Right.
These are all kind of valid, interesting, science fiction-y kind of choices about how to move into the future. The very basic level, purity is about your civilization's going to really be interested in the old Earth and the old way of doing things and wanting to keep humanity pure and the way it used to be. Supremacy is the AI one. You know, cybernetic enhancements, merging with machines to become more technologically advanced and to deal with the problems of the new world. And then harmony is, yeah, kind of like that. Harmony is the living in harmony with the planet. You take the idea that you're here on this new world and we should adapt ourselves for the new world. And we shouldn't kill the aliens if we don't have to. Let's be friends with them.
I agree.
Yeah, so you don't have to pick at this point, it's just letting you know. You don't ever just pick one of the affinities. It's a sum total of all the decisions you make in the game, add up, and you start tending towards different affinities. So it's kind of like a role-playing thing a little bit. You make your choices and it goes in a certain direction. That's your gold and production, your energy and production. All right, let's get our first city underway, our first city of Mandira
Okay, so
here.
now we go into the production screen, and wow, okay, this is definitely different.
Yeah, it's, you know, it is recognizable. We got the hexes, we got the resource thing, but yeah, the production screen is really just, there's not a lot of stuff open by default. But we can go ahead and we should be able to choose production now. Yeah.
The queue.
Yeah, up in the upper left-hand corner, it gives you some information about what kind of resources it's gathering, citizen management. That's not that relevant right now because there's not a lot of people.
So now, so again, it's got the things like you recommends you to do.
Yeah,
this,
your advisors recommend you build this. Trade depot can be good. I think probably we want to start with a worker right off, just like you kind of would in most classic Civilization games. You need to improve that
I tend to
territory.
explore right away.
Yeah, well, you got your explorer.
Okay,
You
so
automatically
now-
start with an explorer.
Make him explore automatically? Or should we not do
Let's move him manually for a while, and then, yeah, first thing you're going to want to be aware of is you see the glowing green mist kind of to the west of our city, yeah, and also to the east. It's kind of everywhere. If a unit ends the turn in that green mist, they're going to take a little bit of damage. They usually won't get killed like that unless you do something stupid and stop them in there when they're already injured. But the planet is hostile, so you need to be careful where you're moving your guys.
Okay. Oh
All
my
right,
gosh.
yeah, so let's zoom in on our first choice here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, go ahead and zoom in on habitation. We have our choices of what we want to research right away. So we see we have pioneering already done. We have chemistry. Let's go ahead and just do engineering because that's what our economic advisor wants us to do. So let's go with that for now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it goes pretty far. Yeah, like in Civ 5, you know, pretty much everything's organized down that lower right-hand corner, so you can just pay attention to the notifications there, and you'll be fine.
Whoa.
Here's another civilization arriving. Unlike classic Civ, where everybody's there at the same time, in Beyond Earth, they show up over the first few turns.
Oh.
So you may think, oh, I'm clear to explore over here on the left, and then all of a sudden there's a civilization that lands there, and you have to change your mind and change your strategy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have something that needs your
All right, so we're moving your explorer to the resource pod, gets you some research, kind of like a goody hut in regular civilization.
Ruins,
Yeah, things
yeah.
like that. It's going to talk a lot about the orbital layer. I think we'll probably just ignore that for the most part, because in my experience so far, the orbital layer is kind of a later game thing. But it's all about launching satellites that affect the terrain underneath them,
Oh.
which can have a variety of different effects.
So now I can just basically put it
Yeah,
to sleep or something?
since it's already given us a free one, we can go ahead and launch it just to see what that's going to be like.
Oh.
And then this view is the orbital layer view. So this is your choices where you can actually put this orbital unit and what it will affect. Can you mouse over it again so it'll tell us what it's actually going to do? Go over the actual unit. So it's going to give you +1 energy on tiles you own. Any city in range also receives 20% energy
Oh.
overall. So let's put it right overhead.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that. It's launched up
Okay.
there, and it'll last for a while, but eventually they decay and
Oh,
they
that's so
crash.
cool.
Yeah, that's the orbital layer. It's pretty neat. Okay, so we're gonna be moving this explorer around, looking for different interesting things to excavate and to discover, and kind of learning about the map around us. All right, so we've skipped forward a few turns. Still just have the one city, built a worker. Rachel's brought her explorer around in kind of a big arc here to explore some of the terrain around her. She left it in the miasma for a second, and it takes a little bit of damage. Nothing serious, but there's a lot of things in the terrain of this game that kind of like the miasma. There's mountain ranges that are impassable. There's big chasms that you can't cross. So the maps are really interesting and complicated compared to a typical game of Civ 5 or Civ 4. You can be a lot more limited in ways you can go, which is obviously presents a lot of strategic choices. We want to check in right here because our explorer found an artifact. That's actually a big part of what explorers are going to do in Beyond Earth is they'll wander around and they'll be finding stuff all the time. They'll find crashed satellites or caves or all kinds of things that they can explore. To explore, they need to use an expedition module, and they can only carry one of those at a time. And so when they explore it, they use up the expedition module and they have to return to a city and get another one. One thing, a big contrast of Beyond Earth to Civilization 5 and 4 is that units like explorers stay useful like throughout the game.
Oh yeah, that
They're-
one.
Yeah, you don't just stop using them because they're not good anymore, because there are always things for explorers to do. We can also see if you go up to your city right there, that red prompt there is telling us that there are aliens hanging out next door. You can see that there's one right next to our worker. There's one in the water over there.
Cute.
If you mouse over the actual hexagon, it's an alien sea dragon is what that's called. And that one's a wolf beetle. They're scary, but they're not hostile at the moment. You can actually tell because their icon is green. If you were to attack them a bit, it would start shading towards yellow and orange and then all the way to red, and they would look like an enemy, and they would be actively hostile towards you. But right now, we're just ignoring them, being chill, not starting a fight with them, and we're okay.
Okay, so now I'm on the actual artifact,
Yeah,
so I can go ahead
it's
and
going to prompt you to
construct.
construct an expedition, which will take a few turns, and then you'll get some bonus. It might trigger a quest as well, which we'll talk about once that comes
Close
up.
up, you can see the little aliens, like witch doctors from Diablo 3.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and you know, a lot of the terrain, because it's not instantly recognizable, like, oh, that's a forest or whatever, so you can mouse over like something like that right there, and you see up in the corner it's tubers, which is obviously a kind of food because that has bonus food resources there. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you play.
Whoa.
Oh, another, see, yeah, look, that's what I was talking about with the
You're gonna take my exo
Freeland.
mass.
Oh no. Yeah, so I guess again in the future, Polynesia and Australia and that whole region kind of merged together, and now they're here right where you wanted to go, kind of screwing up your plans.
Yeah, my xenomass, bro.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out long term. Talking a bit about the aliens versus barbarians as you go ahead.
that needs your attention.
Barbarians, obviously, it's really simple how you would deal with them. You just attack them. You attack them and you can get experience bonus. Oh, okay, so the expedition's completed. You found survivors in the derelict settlement.
Okay.
You got a population bonus.
Woo of 1.
Nice, that's pretty good. So you can actually bring your explorer back to the city now because he needs a new
Okay.
expedition module.
Okay,
Those guys.
virtues.
Develop a virtue, yeah.
Okay.
Virtues, I mean, this you'll immediately kind of recognize this from Civilization
Yeah,
5.
it's
Is,
like
you know,
honor tree.
yeah, the different trees there.
Liberty tree. Or,
Yeah. So you get a lot of basic bonuses, but the interesting thing about the virtue system is that you get extra bonuses you can see here around the horizontal axis and the vertical axis that reward you both for branching out on many virtues or for going really deep in a single virtue. So you get bonus technologies, bonus resources, bonus all kinds of things depending on if you spread out or if you focus in one particular one. Yeah, so going back to aliens versus barbarians. Barbarians you would just fight because they were always hostile and it was very simple and, oh, he decided to attack you.
Hey!
Speaking of hostile, yeah. So sometimes they do that. They usually won't attack your people if they're in your borders, although later in the game they might decide to do that anyway. But in this case, they didn't like your explorer hanging out there. Maybe you were too close to a nest, so they attacked it. So now it's on you whether you're going to retaliate, whether you're just going to be okay. That was like somebody just got killed by a wolf or whatever. It's not going to go kill all the wolves.
Yeah, I'm not going to kill all the wolves.
All right, let's look at this. Let's look at the quest
So,
log.
yeah, now we have a quest. So what's this?
Yeah, so the quest system is pretty interesting. You get random prompts depending on what you're doing in the game that offer different rewards, require you to do things like, you know, build this specific thing or discover this kind of technology, and you'll get rewards for it. A lot of them also give you points in the different affinities. You can see that in the top left of the screen. We have the 3 different icons of the different affinities. And you want to level up in affinities because then you're able to upgrade your units and you get specific bonuses. So quests provide one of the ways to do that. You also get it by discovering technologies. Some humans from Earth, they want to found a station nearby you.
Okay.
Stations are kind of like city-states, a little bit like city-states, a little bit like shared tile improvements that you share with other civilizations. All right, so this station, there's 2 different things that want to found this station, and you get to choose which one you want. So you will either get, if you let Adept Blue open up a station, then you can do a trade route with them, and then every time you do the trade route, you'll get random technology, which could be pretty powerful. The other one provides pretty standard steady bonus of culture and science that way.
Okay.
Oh, so it's right over there. So we know that even though that looks like water there, that there must be a coastline right over there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then, would I need to make a trade unit that goes on water?
Probably, yeah. That's probably on the coast, so you would need to build a trading
Okay.
ship, which we might not have the technology
Yeah,
for.
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right, so we've gone a few more turns now. Still just have the one city. We'll show you in a second how some late-coming civilizations have landed nearby and really kind of screwed up what we were planning to do, which talking to Firaxis about this, that's kind of the fun of it, is like you see your map around you, you decide, oh, I'm going to go over there, I like those resources, and then before you can do it, other people are landing there, other civilizations are getting established there, and that's going to make for some tension early on. We've got another quest decision that we have to make. Quests, like we said before, kind of guide you in particular ways. They give you points in the different affinities. They encourage you to research different technologies in different orders. And this one is pretty basic. It comes from building a recycling center in one of your cities. And it asks you, what do we want to do with these recycled goods? Do we want to produce low-quality recycled goods or high-quality recycled goods? Both of them give you different bonuses. If you mouse over the choices, they should tell you what it will do. Either +1 food, or +10% worker speed. And this is really something I want to stress about Beyond Earth and what I've seen so far, is all these quests come up and all these different options come up, and going all the way back to the beginning in that deck building portion, is you really get to customize your civilization and the bonuses you get more than in any other Civ game. Like you're going to be making dozens of these little choices throughout the game. You know,
Micro decisions.
are my workers going to be a little bit faster, or am I going to get the bonus food? And it's going to come up again and again and again. So it's really interesting, and it really makes every game play out differently because you're not even going to get the same quests every time necessarily.
Yeah.
So what worked in one game as far as strategy, you might not be able to do the same exact way another time.
I'm going to go with high quality.
Go with the food, yeah. Miasma goes along. It's a big part of the game. Eventually, you'll research technologies that will allow your workers to clean it up. So if you want to clean it up around your civilization so it doesn't do you damage, so that'll be good. Later also, you'll have the ability to add miasma if you want to add it around your city. And then you think, why would I ever do that? That's annoying. If you go far enough down the Harmony affinity path, the miasma stops hurting you. It actually heals your units by a little bit every turn instead of hurting you. So if you get that far down, then you can imagine if you had every tile around your cities covered in miasma. All of your units would be healing a little bit.
And everyone else
yeah, anybody else trying to attack you is going to be taking damage from the terrain. It's actually a really interesting way to pursue your strategy long term. Sweep down a little bit so we can show people who showed up to kind of crash our party.
Yeah, so I was all excited about the Xenomass. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get some of that Xenomass. And then
we got Polystralia over there with Freeland, and then we have the Pan-Asian Cooperative is there.
America showed up too, right?
Yeah, the American Reclamation, I think they're central over there. The American Reclamation Corporation, I guess in the future, America has kind of become a cross between a religion and a corporation. So yeah, that's the America of the future. She's pretty far away, so she's not messing with us right now, but she has also shown up. We have a few different things stacked up production-wise, making a trade depot so that we can try to trade with that station that's nearby. I also get to develop another virtue, so we can do that now. We're not going to be able to win today because it's going to max out at 250 turns, and I don't even know if they have it in this build of the game that if you were super good, you could possibly win in the first 250 turns. It's probably not even programmed into the game yet. But this will let us talk about one of them. This Progenitor Ruin. Discovered physics. Okay, nice. You can pick your next choice as we go. But I'll talk a bit about talk about the victory conditions. There's a few different victory conditions in there. If you want to look at them in detail, we've talked about them on GameCrate before. Every affinity path has its own victory condition. So the Harmony one involves like merging with the consciousness of the planet and living in harmony with the world that way. The Purity one involves bringing more human settlers from old Earth here through portals to the new Earth. And the Supremacy one, the AI one, involves going back to Earth and like taking it over again and dominating the world with your AI technology. What you've discovered, the Progenitor Ruin, is kind of the first step towards another victory condition, one that all the affinities can pursue. And that is the contact victory condition. It's actually kind of modeled on and named after the Carl Sagan book and the movie made out of it. You discover these ruins from the progenitors. While exploring the ruins, several members of your expedition struck with a powerful vision about the construction of a towering device larger than a city.
Vision is so detailed, expedition was able to share some of its secrets with your people as well.
Wow, free level up in an affinity. That's awesome too. It's going to let you choose that right now. That's a huge bonus to have early in the game.
Yay, Harmony.
And go ahead and mouse over that for a second so we can see some of the bonuses. At level 1, alien aggression returns to neutral twice as quickly. So even if you have to attack aliens for some reason, they'll forgive you more quickly.
Less damage from miasma.
Yeah, you can see they'll start getting healed in miasma.
Oh, that's the level 6.
Yeah, a lot of the later game options here, those might end up changing. We're not sure yet, but...
Okay, and then Purity, aliens are not tactiles with Explorer units.
Yeah, that makes your units a bit stronger. That focuses a lot on kind of the military options. Supremacy is also another. They're all kind of can go along with military options too. That's something I asked Firaxis early on is there one that's like best for military? And the answer is no, they just provide you with different ways to pursue the military option or the technology option. Like I know at a very high level, the Harmony thing, it has kind of a super unit that's essentially like a kaiju. It's a giant monster that you can use to attack other people. So you can definitely be Harmony and military and aggressive too. One interesting thing about Beyond Earth is that units like the Explorer remain relevant really late game. Same is true actually of your soldiers and all your basic military units. Because you do that, you upgrade them as you go along through the affinity. So actually you have an Explorer at the beginning of the game, he's going to stay relevant for a really long time because he's going to be getting upgrades and getting better at fighting. I was talking a bit before about the Progenitor, the contact victory path. That involves getting, it's kind of the technology victory, sort of. It involves getting in touch with this intelligent civilization. Oh man, talk about that in a second. So we built our trade unit. We were able to do a trade route, but right now we don't have anything available. It might be because they're not visible. It might be because somebody else is currently trading with them. So we can put this guy to sleep for now, and then we'll check in with him in a little while. Yeah, go ahead and sleep him right now. It's okay. We'll be able to use it. Yeah, so the contact victory involves getting in touch with intelligent alien life forms somewhere out there in the world. They've left ruins all over this planet, so you have to explore them. Then you have to really advance to a higher level of technology to be able to contact them. Then, of course, there's also the military victory where you just destroy the other civilizations as well. That's always an option. Yeah, you go ahead and guide your explorer around, and I'll brief people. Here we are on turn 100 of the game. And yeah, like Rachel said, it's been rough. Tried to get that second city, built the colony ship, and went out and started exploring. Originally, we tried to go to the southeast, but the spot that we really wanted, the Polystralia guy grabbed right before we got there. So that was kind of annoying. So then we said, okay, we'll go to the northwest instead. That was another recommended spot. We were about a tile away, and as you can see here, this sea is just teeming with these sea dragons. And even though we haven't done anything mean to the aliens all game, they killed our colony guy the turn before. Oh God, look at how many there are. Killed him right before we were going to establish the colony while he was embarked and crossing the water there. So that set us back a bit. But we did build another one, and we do have that second city now, so that's helpful. We're on the right track. We also had an encounter with the siege worm, basically the largest and scariest alien that is around. It was coming into our territory here in the southeast, and we luckily had enough money to buy a fence that goes around the edge of your territory and keeps aliens from coming in and ruining your tile improvements. So that was nice. We were able to do that at the last minute. What else happened? Brazil tried to get us involved in a war against the American Reclamation Corporation. Since we only had one military unit at the time, we said no. We declined to get involved in the war. Yeah, we're debating the best way to deal with the aliens because they're really frustrating that they're there right now. Rachel really likes the Harmony path, and I think the Harmony affinity. That's probably the right move because there's just so many aliens that if we started antagonizing them, we'd do nothing else but try to fight them and kill them. But yeah, so you kind of just have to deal with them there and accept the fact that they're gonna interfere with your plans sometimes. All right, we're coming up to a point where we're gonna wanna wrap up the video, so just a couple more things that we wanna cover. We talked about the victory conditions. A big thing about this game that is striking to me, if you've played the original Alpha Centauri, which this is kind of a very clear spiritual sequel to, Alpha Centauri was in many ways kind of a dystopia. It was kind of a dark view of the future. You had drone people doing your work for you. You could nerve staple them when they got unruly. There was mind worms that were pretty terrible to encounter. But this game is it's a lot brighter and more kind of an optimistic view of the future. Oh, they don't want you hunting for salvage near their territory. Please do not murder us. Yeah, this is a brighter and more optimistic view of the future. I really like how all the different affinities feel positive. They feel good. They feel like, there's not an evil choice among them, which would have been really easy to do, but it's a lot more interesting the way it's presented. I like all the quests and all the little things that come up. There's so many little like miniature sci-fi stories that play out as you're playing a game. There's, you can see clear influences from Ray Bradbury and Isaac Asimov and all those classic science fiction writers, and it's just really, it makes every game different, which is something that didn't always happen in past Civilization.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good place to wrap up. This game is scheduled for release on October 24th, so it's about a month away. We're gonna have a lot written about this. Between now and then, we have a lot that we've already written because I've had a chance to play around with this game a few different times and interview some people about it. So make sure you're reading all about Beyond Earth on GameCrate. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. So we're gonna turn off the cameras now, but we're gonna keep playing until turn 250. Yeah. Even when you come to the end of the press demo, it gives you a failure screen like you've been defeated, and then it says like back to the main menu, and then it does say just one more turn, but that's grayed out. You can't actually pick it, unfortunately.
Oh, well.
Yeah. But soon, just a month, guys.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for letting me play.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Thanks you guys for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for more awesome Let's Plays in the
All
near
right.
future.
Right.
Check it out. See ya.